This is the brief on Michael Olise. So who exactly is he? Well, he's a 24-year-old football phenomenon starring for Bayern Munich and the French national team, who literally just cemented his status as one of the best players in the world after a totally historic 2025-2026 season. First, to really get his playing style, we've got to look at his roots. He was actually born in London with Nigerian, Algerian, and French descent, but ultimately chose to represent France. Growing up, he played a ton of street football with his brother, and man, that really shaped his game. Even though he totally dominates the right wing today, he kind of prefers a freer, central number 10 role. When you watch his elite, unpredictable dribbling, can't you just see how kicking a ball against a wall translates perfectly to the world stage? Second, let's talk about that record-breaking season. He just took home the Bundesliga Player of the Season award, racking up an absolutely insane 25 goals and 28 assists across all competitions for Bayern. So how do you even follow up a perfect club season like that? You go straight to the World Cup and literally break Pele's long-standing record by dropping 7 assists for France. Finally, all of this success brings us to his massive market value. To fend off interest from rival giants like Real Madrid, Bayern Munich just locked Olise down with a new contract until 2029, paying him a huge base salary of 13.5 million euros a year. Ultimately, the guy has completely transformed from a London street baller into a record-breaking, multi-million euro cornerstone of global football.
You know, modern football can sometimes feel like a highly structured math equation.
Yeah.
Every player's just this variable locked into a specific zone on the pitch, right?
Right. Just, executing these pre-planned algorithms.
Exactly. Well, welcome to today's deep dive. You, the listener, share this massive stack of tactical reports and player interviews with us about Michael Olise. And our mission today is to figure out why a player who absolutely dominates the wing is so desperate to play in the, chaotic center of the pitch.
I mean, that contradiction is exactly what makes Olise so fascinating right now. On paper, his recent admission that he personally prefers playing centrally, as a number 10, it seems almost counterintuitive given his staggering success out wide.
Wait, so he actually came out and said he prefers being a number 10?
Yeah, he says playing centrally just feels more natural to him.
Wow. And, he ties that natural feeling directly to freedom. Like, he grew up playing street football, just kicking the ball against the wall and playing endless one-on-ones with his brother.
Right, it wasn't rigid academy coaching.
Yeah. It was pure, unadulterated problem solving.
It makes me think of a jazz musician. He thrives in a free jam session rather than reading rigid sheet music,
That's a great analogy. And that street environment is exactly how you develop elite tight space mechanics.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're playing one-on-one against a wall, you don't have 50 yards of pristine grass to just knock the ball past someone.
Right, you're totally boxed in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You have to learn how to manipulate the opponent's body weight.
Yeah.
That's actually where his signature shoulder drop comes from.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was forged in spaces so tight that a single micro movement was literally the only way to get a shot off.
That is wild. So playing on the wing is almost like playing chess against a wall, because you only really have to worry about attacks from one side. The touchline kind of protects your flank.
Right, exactly.
But playing as a central number 10, that's like playing 3D chess in the middle of a crowded intersection. You're operating in this 360-degree blender of center backs and defensive midfielders. And that 3D chess analogy highlights a massive tactical contradiction. If his soul comes alive in that central blender, why is Bayern Munich locking him to the right touchline?
Because the tactical reality is undeniably effective.
Yes. Out wide, he secured 25 goals, 28 assists, and even won Player of the Season. He stays high and wide to force defenders into those isolated one-on-ones.
Which he totally dominates.
Oh, absolutely. He boasts a 67% dribble success rate across 91 dribbles in just 10 games.
That is an insane stat for just 10 games. Let me throw a theory at you, though. Is keeping Olise on the wing actually a tactical cheat code?
How do you mean?
Are managers putting him out there specifically to protect him from that heavily congested midfield? Just allowing him to safely isolate defenders, even if he really wants to be in the center?
I mean, I wouldn't call it a cheat code so much as a tactical compromise. The managers aren't necessarily protecting him, right? They are protecting their system.
Oh, so it's about the team structure?
Exactly. If a player loses the ball wide, it's inherently safer than losing it centrally, where a counterattack is instantly fatal.
Makes total sense.
By starting him wide, managers utilize his gravity. He draws 2 or 3 players out to the flank, which creates massive pockets of space in the center for the rest of the team to exploit.
But whether he's hugging the touchline or drifting central, his technical execution is just on another planet. The tactical reports emphasize his spatial awareness, like specifically noting that he scans the pitch 3 times in just half a second before receiving the ball.
Right, but what does that scanning actually achieve? It means before the ball even reaches his foot, he's already mapped the momentum of the defender behind him.
So he knows exactly which way they're leaning.
Exactly. That allows him to use their own weight against them with a single fake movement. And that's how he manages to receive the ball inside the opponent's penalty area, a Bundesliga high 7 times per match.
Wait, 7 times a match inside the box. That's absurd for a player starting out wide.
It really is. And because he's penetrating those dangerous areas so frequently, he naturally triggers defensive panic. He draws 3 or 4 defenders at once.
And that panic becomes his actual weapon.
Exactly. He doesn't just draw defenders to beat them, he draws them to open passing lanes for his teammates. It's that precise playmaking mechanism, weaponizing the defense's fear, that allowed him to deliver 7 assists at the World Cup.
Breaking Pele's long-standing record.
Yep.
That is unbelievable. So when you watch Olise this weekend, keep an eye on his head movement right before he gets the ball. You're watching a street footballer's instinct operating a highly disciplined, tactical supercomputer.
Yeah, he perfectly blends that concrete court flair with elite European mechanics. He's successfully adapting the pure freedom of the streets to the rigid math of the modern game.
Which leaves you with this to ponder. If Michael Olise is already breaking Pele's records and winning Player of the Season while largely operating out of his preferred position on the wing, what terrifying heights might he reach if a team actually decides to tear up that tactical grid and build their entire system around him as a pure number 10?
If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please consider subscribing to Decision 45. Your support means the world to us and helps us keep creating high-quality content just like this. Don't forget to hit that like button, leave a comment with your thoughts, and subscribe so you never miss an update.